safety glasses, gloves. We're going to assemble a Sundstrand piston motor. Okay? So here we go. First thing we want to do is get one of the gaskets. We're going to use some of this Permatex high-tack spray gasket sealant. Coat one side, let it dry and get tacked up, and then we'll do the other side. You could also use some silicone, but I like this better. Okay, we've already assembled, we polished the shaft already on the lathe. We got a brand new bearing already pressed on. You need a press to press these on and off. And then you've got two snap rings on here. Now the other thing is, we're going to pop the back seal out. That way the case oil could get in here and lubricate this thing. Otherwise, if you leave it on there, you know, the grease could wear out, and you know, it's just better. It lets the oil get up in there from the case. So we're going to drop this in. You got a snap ring we're going to drop in there. Hold it in. That's down in there. Then take these seals. These are high pressure seals, and they're fairly expensive. They're heavy duty. They got a big plate inside here. But now when you put these on, don't just start banging them in there because you'll cut it. What you do is you work it down and make sure you do it by hand and get it started. And then I've made a special tool here, recessed, to pound it down. Sets it down in there. Perfect. Okay. And you're going to take a new washer, which sits on top of that seal. Okay, drop that on. And then you take your other snap ring. Place it in there. Perfect. Okay. There it is. Okay. Now previously these have all been washed out. Now there is a washer down inside here. You want to make sure this thing's in here. Don't put it in. This is a hardened washer. I'll show you what it looks like if I can get it out. You want to make sure you're aware of this, because if you don't have this in there, I want to show you what, okay. This is a hardened washer. This is what the shoes ride on, and it looks the same. So you want to make sure that's in there. If you put that in there, it's a different kind of metal. It's going to destroy this thing. This is a hardened washer. It's polished, and that's what the shoes run on. So you want to make sure that's in there. Okay. Put a little grease to hold it down. Set it down in there. Okay, now you take your piston assembly and take this out first, and we're going to check it. Uh-oh, we're missing a pen. Okay, let me get a pen for this thing. There's 4 little pins in here with a little retainer ring. You want to pull the keeper up towards the top. Pull it up toward the top. I'll show the camera here. Yep, you got the 4 pins. You can see the 4 pins in there with the little retainer. I pull this up, the little keeper to hold it in place. Okay, this has already been lapped on the lapping table, flattened out. You see how the pins are here. There's a pin. So there's 4 of those in there. Okay, we'll set this down on here. Okay, then let me show you this other thing. All right, here's a problem, and I have these in stock. You can see that this thing's broken. That sets in here. This is also a hardened special washer, because if you don't have that in there, the pins are hard and you can see the little divots, so I'll get a new one of these. There's a new one right there we're going to put in this thing. That sets on there. It's got the same teeth on it. That sits on top of the pins. Okay, you set that on top of the pins. You're going to take your piston assembly. You're going to work it in there. I like that. You got to get this thing setting on there just right. Okay, make sure it's all good. Okay. Then you're going to lay this down. Take your piston group, and you're going to push it up in there. Work it in. Okay, there it goes. Boom. And it gets in there and turn it up. Alright, so now you have 2 little locating pins. Now while we're doing this, I'm going to turn this gasket over. Let's get the other side gasket spray on. I'm going to be needing that. This works the best, better than silicone. And I'll tell you why, what happens here with that when we get to that part. Okay, you got your 2 locating pins. Now, on the valve piston block, I'm going to put a little grease on here. Okay, I want to show you this valve plate that we previously lapped. Get it perfectly flat. That's where all the work is done, on this surface and the other surface. You got some kind of a brass or bronze cover on this thing, and it works against other dissimilar metals. So your back plate, I like to put a little grease on here to help hold it. And flip it up, put some in the bearing. And then it's got a little roll pin locator, and you're going to push that down. And then also put some grease onto the thing, so that way when you set it down, it doesn't scar it. We're on startup, but we're going to test this thing after. Get it assembled. Okay, now our gasket's ready. Really sticky. Goes on one way. We've got the 2 locating pins. Okay. Now should be able to just set this down on top. Oh, there it is. Okay, now what I do is I'll start this with the air impact, but I won't hit it hard, just enough to get it kind of seated. You want to control have, in the past, you hit these too hard and it will spread the gasket out. Okay, this is only case pressure inside here, so we're going to torque wrench it to make it even around there. But if you sit there and hammer this with the impact, you'll blow the seal out and this thing will leak. You'll cut the gasket because it's too much. So you've got to torque wrench on this, which you find out the specs already do it, but we're going to set it in there. In the vise. You want this even around here. Let's see what this thing is here right there. That's it. See, they're all the same. I'm watching the numbers here. Okay, well, so now we got a nice, even torque on there. Okay, we'll just check this, make sure it'll turn. Okay. No, that's all there is to that. That's how you get it. Now, the next step is we're going to take it over to the test bench and test it, and we'll show you how that works.